This is Business Class on Your Money.
Hi, I'm James Wilkinson and welcome to Business Class. Today's show is coming to you from London. Coming up on tonight's show, we'll go inside the National Gallery. We'll talk hotels with IHG CEO Keith Barr and much more. But first, here's this week's travel news. In travel news this week, the Carlisle Hotel has opened its doors in Brisbane. The new 175-room boutique hotel from TFE Hotels is located in the heart of the James Street precinct, and it features a lobby bar, a Greek restaurant and a pool deck with cabanas. The pool deck is also home to a spa and a technologically advanced gym. The hotel is also home to some of Australia's most sought-after fashion labels, including Dion Lee, Basique, Beck & Bridge and Love Stories. The hotel's 175 designer guest rooms include 9 suites and 2 premier suites. Each has been designed with the ultimate guest experience in mind, with an individual balcony, Bluetooth soundbar, motorised blackout blinds, 55-inch flat-screen televisions and complimentary new release movies. In Sydney, the Westin Hotel is set to become a Fullerton Hotel, with the property's Singaporean owners taking over management from Marriott in October 2019. The hotel will be rebranded the Fullerton Hotel Sydney, and it will sit alongside the company's 2 Singaporean hotels, the Fullerton and the Fullerton Bay Hotel. The hotels have a lot in common, as like Sydney, the Fullerton Hotel Singapore's building was previously home to the country's General Post Office. In aviation news, Singapore Airlines has launched the world's longest commercial flight between Singapore and New York. Operated by the all-new Airbus A350-900 ULR, the 18-hour route from Singapore to New Jersey's Newark Airport will initially be served 3 times weekly, departing Singapore on Monday, Thursday and Saturday. Daily operations will commence on October 18, after an additional A350-900 ULR aircraft enters service. Singapore Airlines is the world's first customer for the new A350-900 ULR, with 7 firm orders with Airbus. The aircraft are configured in a 2-class layout, with 67 business class seats and 94 premium economy class seats. The aircraft will also be used for new non-stop flights between Singapore and Los Angeles, which are set to be launched on November 2. Still on aviation, and Etihad Airways has named Sydney and Melbourne as the next airports in the global rollout of new lounge brand The House, recently launched by the airline in partnership with Number One Lounges. Eligible customers of Etihad Airways and those of its partner airline Virgin Australia travelling through Sydney will be able to experience The House from Tuesday, October 23, while the new upgraded lounge experience will open for customers departing Melbourne on Saturday, October 27. Complimentary entry will continue to be offered to Etihad Airways business class and first class customers and those travelling in the Residence. Gold and Platinum members of the airline's Etihad Guest Frequent Flyer program and business class and first class travellers ticketed on codeshare partner services operated by Etihad will also be eligible for access. The airline will also offer paid access to The House for its economy class travellers. Virgin Australia has also revealed it's adding new lounges in New Zealand. Lounges will be added in Auckland, Christchurch, Queenstown and Wellington, welcoming guests travelling on international flights operated by Virgin Australia. Still on lounges, and British Airways has officially opened the doors to a luxurious new first-class lounge at New York's JFK Terminal 7. The lounge is open to gold card holders and customers travelling in the airline's first-class cabin. At 60% larger than its predecessor, the lounge has been designed with thoughtfully tailored zones. A new wine room forms the centerpiece, boasting an enigmatic dispenser, which enables customers to enjoy wines at exactly the right temperature that have been oxidized to the correct level. Other features include an opulent first bar with a wide range of premium beverages and a quiet work area. Customers can also dine in the airline's upgraded dining room before they fly to maximize rest on the flight to London. When it comes to travel, Trafalgar has been showing tourists the world for decades, and it's only now the company believes it's entering the golden age of travel. Jana Frawley from Escape recently spoke to Gavin Tolman, a man passionate about travel, and found out why now is such an important time for the industry.
What makes up the good life? Someone asked me long ago. Is it money or fame that classifies? I said politely no. It ain't no love.
Gavin, there's a great deal of talk at the moment about this being the golden age of travel. What does that mean to Australians who are wanting to book a holiday?
The opportunities for Australians to travel throughout the world have never been easier than this exact moment right now. Today you can go anywhere you want because of the availability of flights. And so for Australians, the opportunity to go and discover the world and really feel and attach to these incredible places, this is the moment. And so for me, that is the golden age.
Trafalgar is one of the biggest group tour companies in the world. What does group touring look like in 2018 and how has it changed in the past decade?
What we do is we take out a number of like-minded individuals, all traveling from around the world, coming together and going to discover the destination together. And secondarily, the very reason we travel in the first instance is making those connections. Connections to the people, the places, the experiences that you can have. And every single one of our guides today are trained to understand everybody as an individual and making sure that what brought you there is what you get out of it. And to me, it's one of the greatest things. You know, we have over 600 guides around the world, and each one of them are some of the most enigmatic personalities you will ever meet. And I personally, whenever I go anywhere, the first people I call are them, to ask them, well, what is interesting, what should I be doing, what is happening, because that is what they do for our guests.
You referred to the connections people make when they're travelling, and I understand that cultural and environmental factors are very big for your company and for travellers at the moment. Tell me a little bit more about that.
What Trafalgar looks at, and it really has become part of our very DNA, is the fact that we want to ensure that you can travel globally, but you sustain locally. And what does that actually mean? It's a few key criteria. It's first of all, it's when you go to the places that you visit, it's making sure, first of all, you actually contribute to the places you're going. You know, it's not going to the homogenized things, it's actually working with locals. So it is through travel you help sustain them. It's not only the places, but it's also the planet itself. And when we think of the planet, it's making sure you tread correctly. It's being respectful. We have taken like single-use plastics out of everything our brand does. The idea there being that we have got to make sure that we are a force for good in our travels all the time. And so for me, for the people, if they actually get a benefit from you coming into the community, they will welcome tourism, and that is Trafalgar's great vision for the future.
I understand that both professionally and personally, Africa holds a big place in your heart, and it's a big place on people's travel bucket lists. Tell me why it's so special and why you're so passionate about Africa.
If there's one place you ever travel to that will change you forever, it is Africa. And when I talk Africa, I'm really talking about the wilds of Africa. It is getting into the bush. And there is something profoundly impactful to wake up to the sound of a roar of a lion, to see nature in its very raw form, where you have this perfect balance between all of the species in nature, and to go into a place where you no longer dominate, but you are part of the ecosystem itself. It is powerful and it's real, and for me, that's the reason I love Africa.
We'll be back with more Business Class on Your Money, and be sure to check out yourmoney.com.au. And now, more Business Class on Your Money.
London's home to Intercontinental Hotels Group, and right now CEO Keith Barr is on a mission to grow the company around the world like nothing else. We sat down with him to talk brands, expansion and a lot more. Gee, thanks so much for your time today. It's a bit of an exciting time this week in Hong Kong for Regent, isn't it?
Yeah, no, fantastic to be here in Hong Kong at the Intercontinental Hong Kong, which actually will be closing in 2020 and returning to the market in 2021 as the Regent, kind of the rebirth of an icon for the hotel industry. And we've been basically bringing the Regent brand back to the marketplace this week, talking about how we're contemporizing and evolving the Regent brand, and meeting with development community across Asia Pacific, and really excited about what we're hearing for the interest of Regent across this part of the world.
For many years, it was one of the lost great brands of the world, and you're really bringing it back to fruition.
You know, the latent love for the Regent brand was something that I knew existed, but has continued to surprise me. Speaking to people last night, talking about, my honeymoon was in the Regent in Bali, or my first job was in the Regent in Sydney. And so in all of those markets across Asia Pacific and globally, we're seeing people want the Regent brand to come back into those markets and getting great conversations in Rome, New York, Sydney, Bali, Tokyo.
And if you look at what you're doing, I mean, you haven't been really sitting still in your 12 months as CEO now, have you? You've really gone out there, you've launched new brands, you've pushed into new markets, you've invigorated other brands that have been taken over recently as well. It's been exciting.
It's been a great first year. We've launched new brands. Avid Hotels in the US already signed 130 hotels there. Now just announced we're taking that into Germany, into Mexico, into Canada. We launched the Boko Hotel brand recently, a great upscale brand. 3 signings in Australia recently, and a number of those happening in Europe as well. And we have the Regent Hotel brand. So we're really seeing great momentum across the brand portfolio and accelerating our growth.
And if you look at those markets, obviously Australia, very important for you. More than 20 properties coming within the Australasian region right now, which is a lot since actually you were there back in the late 2000s as well. So this is really huge growth for IHG.
It's really exciting to see what's happening in Australia and New Zealand, across the Pacific right now. Just real great momentum of domestic development, so people in Australia building for Australia, and great hotels. So we have Hotel Indigo, we've got a number of Holiday Inn Expresses, our wellness brand Even Hotels, so it's really exciting to see the growth there, and just fantastic product and great locations.
And I think if you look on a global scale too, you've obviously in all the big gateway cities making a lot of inroads now. Obviously we're here in Hong Kong, this is becoming a region. Sydney's big for you. London, obviously, you've just done a huge deal and taken over one of the capital's most beautiful new hotels.
Yeah, so it's now going to be the Kimpton Fitzroy in Russell Square. Just a stunning hotel. I think the building was built in 1891, and we did that deal across the UK, picked up 12 incredible assets in Birmingham, Manchester, Edinburgh, London, and just great hotels. Heritage, 100+ year hotels. Great. So we'll have 4 Kimptons, we'll have a few Vocos, we'll have an Intercontinental going into Edinburgh. So great portfolio of hotels there.
And you haven't had to acquire much in the last few years. You've had a couple of little strategic investments, and that's obviously one of them, but a lot of internal growth as well.
Yeah, that's the great thing about IHG. We have such a great brand portfolio and an organic growth story too. And so you think about the first half of this year, best signings in over a decade, the best number of openings of hotels in over a decade. So we're sitting now at over 800,000 hotel rooms open and over 250,000 in development. That's about 1,700 hotels. So, and that's principally an organic growth story, which creates huge value for our shareholders and just great experiences for our customers.
And if you look at all that growth with all these new hotels coming along, is this making it harder or easier when dealing with existing hotels that need to renovate?
We continue to raise the standard because customers want to see our brands continue to evolve and grow. And so as we bring in new assets and new brands and new product into markets, it does push our owners to say, we need to be competitive, which at the end of the day is a great thing for our guests because they're getting wonderful experiences.
And no secret, you've been one of the companies that's really gone after the business travel market in the last 30 years. And obviously you've got a lot of leadership on that front, and you've got brands that do suit the business traveler, from your boutique Kimptons right through to your luxury Intercons and Regents.
The great thing about IHG is our ability to play across the chain scale of hotels. And so for that road warrior in the United States, we have a Holiday Inn Express. For that international business traveler, we've got Intercontinental. We'll be hitting 200 Intercontinentals around the world this year too. So we've got the brand portfolio, and we tie it together through an incredible loyalty program with over 100 million members too. So it's a great way for us to engage in that segment of business.
And obviously one of the most exciting segments, leisure anywhere in the world, isn't it?
It just continues to grow. We were talking earlier about it. It's just the demand for leisure. As you're seeing, again, emerging markets mature, growing wealth, travel becoming easier and less expensive. Leisure travel is just booming around the world, and this whole bleisure piece too, people saying, you know, I'm going to do a 3-day meeting and I'm going to stay over the weekend, or I'm going to fit in that additional day. It's just become the nature of travel now.
You think that's where it's sort of coming on with your portfolio as well, where someone might go and stay at a Crowne Plaza in New York and then have the weekend at a Kimpton?
Definitely, you know, we see people do that, and I think that's why, like I'm excited about the Voco brand, because that's pushing a little bit more into leisure as well too. So it's something that can be a business stay, but it's got a really unique experience in food and beverage, and overall the guest room and the arrival and the overall just kind of tone of what that brand is about. So it kind of lends itself to bleisure quite well.
And if you look at that brand, what's your elevator pitch on Voco? And if I was a developer, why would I sign with you?
You know, we have a number of developers who love what I call our programmatic brands, you know, like a Holiday Inn Express. It's turnkey. We're going to tell you how to build it, what the room is like. We're going to tell you where to buy the bed and so forth. So it's really easy to do. We have a lot of developers who want to put their own personality into it too. So they want to be in the power of our enterprise in IHG, but want to bring their own personality into the design of it. So Voco lets them do that. So there's some distinct hallmarks of the brand around the arrival, around food and beverage in the room, but the design can reflect the local environment and the market, and lets the owner get a bit more involved in that, which is a great experience for them.
When we talk technology, what are some of the ways IHG is really innovating at the moment?
Well, we've launched our global reservation system, which is the industry-leading cloud-based system. We're about 97% complete, so we're in over 5,000 hotels right now. And that's just cutting edge. Effectively, we're moved away from the traditional mainframe technology platform to cloud-based, which gives us such incredible flexibility and functionality moving forward too. So that's been one of the biggest things we've ever done as a company. Happy to see it coming to the end and it going so well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, great to see you. Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we go inside the National Gallery, and we also check into one of the most luxurious hotels here in London.
We'll be back with more Business Class on Your Money. And now, more Business Class on Your Money.
One of the most luxurious hotels is the Bulgari Hotel in Knightsbridge. Let's go inside. Costa, we're here at the beautiful Bulgari Hotel in Knightsbridge, and what makes it so special in your opinion?
Many contributing factors, James. First of all, the very contemporary Italian design. I think is a very different space in the context of London, despite the many other hotels. That gives it a very residential feel. So when you stay here, you feel more that you own a residence in London rather than you stay in a hotel. There is a huge generosity of space. The number of 85 bedrooms that the hotel has perhaps gives the wrong perception. It's very generous in space, and it was created back in 2012 for the London Olympics. And then is the neighborhood. It's a very celebrated neighborhood, but also is a very diverse neighborhood. You've got the Royal Park right in front of the hotel. You've got a vast London residences to our left, amazing shopping of Sloane Street, Harrods just 2 minutes away, and Harvey Nichols. So there's something for everybody. The arts are not very far either, the Victoria and Albert Museum, the Royal Albert Hall. The cherry on the cake of the Bulgari Hotel London is actually our service motto and our team. We talk a lot about providing informal but impeccable service, and that's really what makes all the difference for us.
And if you look at what the hotel offers, you've got fantastic food and beverage here as well, don't you?
Absolutely, a great variety. The lounge as you come into the hotel is a place that evolves throughout the day, and you can see London starting early in the morning and finishing with a nice drink. Il Bar with a beautiful selection of cocktails and wines. Right next to it, our cigar shop and sampling lounge. And at a lower level, all-day dining Riviera, bringing the best of south of Italy and south of France together. So a very diverse culinary proposition.
Obviously great food, but also well known for your drinks here as well. A great wine list and great cocktails.
Indeed. Cocktails, I would say, was a strength. Our Negronis, our aperitivos, obviously that Italian heritage that we carry through into London. And a very extensive cocktail list where our mixologists prepare for our guests on a daily basis. Absolutely.
There's not too many Italian hotel brands in the world. This is one of the more unique ones, isn't it? And tied into a very special fashion family.
Correct, correct. The Bulgari family established Bulgari Roma many years ago in Rome, and from there at some point with the Dolce Vita and the Cinecittà, Bulgari became very prominent. And what sort of completed that proposition was the creation of hotels. The first hotel being in Milano, Bali followed, London for the London Olympics in 2012. And not so long ago, we opened Beijing, Dubai, Shanghai, and there are plans for Paris, Tokyo. So it's a brand that is growing. There is a design continuity and a design consistency, so you feel like you enter and immerse yourself in a Bulgari hotel. And there is that tradition of excellence and authenticity that we find in all our hotels. So very unique and very handcrafted without rushing to become something huge.
And obviously when the brand does grow, you want to be careful of that growth and not just put the brand anywhere.
Of course, absolutely. Very carefully selected destinations. Again, all characterized by that design integrity, by the offering, by the consistency in the standards. So yeah, very proud to be part of it.
We've seen a few fashion brands have hotel groups, and none as successful as this though. Is there something in the water that you want to tell us that has made this brand so good?
Well, I think the DNA of the brand, the jewelry brand, as it started, and the tradition of excellence and that craftsmanship, we have been able successfully to bring it into all of our hotels. I think that's very important. We're not rushing to expand. The brand is carefully selecting where it will go and where it will open. And I think the service motto above all, achieving that informal but impeccable style of service is unique. Informality enables us to be who we are. So we're looking for people to join us that have the personality to and the natural passion to work with our guests. And impeccable is a great challenge. It pushes us to be better every day in everything we do. So, and I think it may sound like a cliche, but it's very difficult to achieve, and I think that's the ingredient that we have absolutely got right throughout the world.
And they're very convenient too. You're one of the closest luxury hotels to Heathrow as well.
Yes, very much so. It's a joy to go to Heathrow, living the Bulgari hotel, and of course we know it's a huge hub for London. So we're very close. It's a straight drive, a straight line. You don't even have to turn anywhere. It gets you from here to Heathrow in a very quick time, no matter what time of the day.
One of the most popular attractions here in London is the National Gallery. Let's go inside now for an exclusive tour. Well, Susan, we're here at the National Gallery in London, one of my favourite galleries in the world. And if I had a couple of hours to spare, what should I come and do?
Well, there's so much to see, and there are so many great works by artists here. You can start at the beginning of Western painting. You can see great works by Jan van Eyck, by the artists of the Renaissance like Raphael and Leonardo da Vinci, for example, his Virgin of the Rocks. And then you can move right up to the 20th century. We have works by Monet and Van Gogh, for example. So great Impressionists and Post-Impressionists and a lot in between.
So many amazing permanent works here. You've got a few exhibitions on at the moment. What are the exhibitions you have on?
We have an exhibition of works by Impressionist artists from the Courtauld Institute, which are some of the greatest Impressionist works by people like Manet, Monet, Cézanne. And we also have an exhibition of some of the greatest artists of the Renaissance, Mantegna and Bellini. And then shortly we're having another Renaissance exhibition, works by Lorenzo Lotto, that people will be able to see. And then coming after that, we're opening an exhibition on Lance's Monarch of the Glen, one of the most famous paintings of an animal that was ever made. And then we've got an exhibition of work by contemporary artist Rachel McLean.
So much going on, so much coming up. How do you choose some of these exhibitions that come through?
Well, this is one of the busiest autumns that we've ever had. And we like to show the whole range of what we have here, but also sometimes things that we don't have in the collection, so works by artists, particularly artists working today who've responded to our collection.
That's always good to have that kind of interaction as well, isn't it? And keeping things exciting. You want people to be able to come back, not just once every 2 or 3 years, you want them to come back almost every season.
We want people to come back all the time because the collection's free, you can pop in every day, and our exhibition programme is constantly changing, so look out for what's coming up.
What are some of the fun things you're doing from an educational standpoint? Are there tours that people can come and do, or that kind of thing?
Every day we have guided tours of the collection, so people can join one of those and find out more about the gallery and the collection.
Are there still pieces in here that you need to spend more time seeing? I mean, it's such a huge collection in here in the National Gallery.
I think even those of us who are working here are always discovering new aspects of the collection. There's always something new to see and find out.
Well, definitely, I'm going to come back in a couple of weeks as well and check out a bit more of it myself. And thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's it from us in London. Thanks for watching and see you next time on Business Class from Hong Kong.